Immigrants who have obtained citizenship in other countries may be surprised when they discover that they are no longer a citizen of that country and their right to vote has been taken away. According to a law firm of attorneys specializing in South African immigration and nationality law, approximately 2,000 South African expatriates have lost their citizenship between 2011 and 2015. Stefanie de Saude, partner at Esenberg de Saude, a firm of attorneys specializing in South African immigration and nationality law, joins us from our Cape Town studios to discuss this exact topic. Good to have you on the program, Stefanie. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Leanne.
Can you explain to us how this process works? I mean, what exactly the expatriates should do to keep their citizenship in South Africa?
Well, in terms of the South African Citizenship Act, if a South African acquires a foreign nationality without the minister's consent by some formal and voluntary act, whilst being a major, other than marriage, that citizen ceases to be a South African citizen. So if a South African wants to emigrate to another country, or is living in another country, and is living there for a couple of years and decides to apply for citizenship in that country, if the South African is not a minor, and if the basis of the acquisition of citizenship is not marriage, but by naturalization, for example, the fact that they've been living there for a certain number of years, that person must first apply to the South African, to the Department of Home Affairs or through the foreign mission in the country for the minister's consent. If the South African doesn't do that, he or she ceases to be a South African citizen as soon as he or she acquires the foreign nationality. And most citizens don't realize this until they want to return to South Africa, or they apply for renewal of their passport, or they contact the Department of Home Affairs for any reason. That's when they find out that they're no longer a South African citizen.
Goodness me. Who decided on this specific policy and why?
Well, it's not a policy, it's the law, and it's been this way since 1949.
Okay.
For some reason, for the last 8 months, I would say, there's been an influx of calls and panic, or frantic calls from people who are panicking about the fact that they've just learned that they've lost their South African citizenship. It may be because the department is only enforcing it now or lately, but it's been this way since 1949. Sure. And again, it's not a policy, it is the law.
Okay. Now, when we talk about what actually happened last year, and particularly in September 2015, the Minister of Home Affairs confirming that the majority of cases that lost citizenship was taken in Australia, Western Europe, Canada, and the United States by expatriates. Is there a specific reason why the majority of cases come from these countries?
I think it's just because South Africans, when they emigrate, those are the countries that they would go to. I mean, it's any country in the world. If you leave South Africa, go to any country, apply for citizenship in any country by any formal or voluntary act, without the minister's consent, again, not being a major, or not being a minor, I'm sorry, you cease to be a South African. And where it becomes difficult is that formal and voluntary isn't defined in the Citizenship Act, so it's left open to interpretation. But if it's an application, a formal application for citizenship within that country, you need to get the minister's consent. And how long that process takes, how long it takes to actually get the minister's consent, is one never knows. It could be anywhere between 3 months to 8 months or longer. So you have to wait. You have to wait.
So it's something you should apply.
You have to.
It's something, if you want to keep your South African citizenship, you need to apply for that during the process. So as you say, this is law. But just to wrap up this interview, just a bit of advice to people that perhaps are wanting to apply for citizenship elsewhere but not lose their South African citizenship. What should we do in the process?
I would say make an inquiry. Contact, one could contact the South African mission in that country. Unfortunately, you can't always rely on the advice that you receive from the mission. It may be advisable to speak to an attorney specializing in South African immigration or citizenship law, but to do your research, do your inquiries before you acquire. Make sure that you're following the correct steps. Also, understand the basis of your acquisition of the foreign nationality. A lot of people that I speak to think that they acquired nationality through marriage, and when I look at their naturalization certificate, it's not on that basis. And again, if it's not on that basis, you cease to be a South African. So it's just about doing your research, making inquiries. Just also, if you do lose your South African citizenship on that basis, you are deemed to be a permanent resident. So you do have the right to live and work in South Africa. You just don't have the right to a passport, to vote, and or any right that's reserved only for South African citizens.
All right. Interesting things coming out of that, and things that I think will make us really investigate further before applying for citizenship in the country that you've moved to. Stefanie de Saude, partner at Esenberg de Saude Attorneys in Cape Town, focusing in on this kind of law. Very interesting. If you've had that issue, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. But let's take a break here on the program. When we return, we'll bring you the news.